In B2B sales, speed is pretty much everything. So what happens when your best people, the ones who should be closing deals, are just bogged down with a ton of repetitive tasks? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful solution that's changing the game, the AI operator. We're going to pull back the curtain on what it is, how it actually works, and why it's solving one of the most expensive and hidden problems in business today.
So here's our game plan. First up, we'll uncover that hidden sales killer that's costing businesses leads they don't even know they're losing. Then you'll meet your new digital employee, and trust me, it's so much more than a chatbot. After we see it in action, we'll talk about when that human touch is still absolutely key. And finally, I'll walk you through a simple plan for putting this AI to work in your own business.
All right, let's get right into the core problem. Think of it like a silent drain on resources that so many companies don't even realize is happening.
You know, this question from Alina Bogdashko just hits the nail on the head. It's that feeling of frustration, right? Your team is working flat out, everyone's busy, the hours are being put in, but somehow the results just aren't matching all that effort. So what is going on? Now, this right here is a really important distinction. See, in consumer sales, if you miss a call, you might lose that customer. Simple as that. But in the B2B world, a missed call is rarely the thing that kills the deal. No, the real killer is the delay. If your quote arrives even an hour after the client asked for it, your competitor, who replied in just a few minutes, they've already started the conversation, they're already building that relationship. To make this really concrete, let's just walk through a day in the life of a manager at a typical logistics company. You'll see that most of their day is just spent on the same old routine questions from existing clients. Okay, so first a request comes in. They have to clarify all the basics. What's the route? What kind of cargo? The volume? The timing? You get the picture. It's the same exact questions over and over and over again. Next up, they have to plug all those numbers into some pricing formula or a spreadsheet, probably double-checking all the math each and every time to make sure there are no mistakes. And finally, they check the data one last time and then draft the email response. Okay, so that's 10, maybe 15 minutes, gone. Just like that. Now multiply that by dozens of these requests every single day. You're looking at hours of prime selling time just vanishing. That is the bottleneck. So now that we've really seen the problem up close, let's talk about the solution. And this isn't just about another piece of software. This is a totally fundamental shift in how we think about getting work done. So the big question is, how do you get all those lost hours back? How do you respond instantly without completely burning out your best people? Enter the AI operator. And the key thing to get here is that this isn't some standalone program you just turn on. No, it's a digital employee that gets woven directly into your company's DNA. It uses your actual business data from your CRM, your specific pricing formulas, and all your internal rules to do its job. Now, you might be thinking, hold on, isn't this just a fancy chatbot? And the answer is, absolutely not. Let's be really clear. A chatbot just follows a pre-written script. An AI operator, on the other hand, is hooked into your live systems. A chatbot gives you generic, canned answers. An AI operator performs real-time calculations using your business data. So one is a simple Q&A tool, and the other is a true digital teammate. Huge difference. So how do you know if you're actually ready for this? Well, here is 3 really clear signs to look for. 1, your team is constantly swamped, just buried in work. 2, you're getting great requests, but they're coming in at 10 p.m. on a Friday. And 3, business is growing, which is great, but you just can't justify hiring more people just to handle these routine tasks. If any of that sounds familiar, it's probably time to take a serious look. Okay, theory is great, but let's see how this stuff actually plays out in the real world across a few different industries. This really shows you how versatile this is. For a production company, it means their dealers can get instant price checks anytime, day or night, 24/7. In IT, it can qualify new leads so the sales manager gets this perfectly prepared brief dropped on their desk. And check this out for telecom and SaaS companies. It can slash the support load by 30 to 40% just by handling things like onboarding and tariff questions. The common thread here, what ties it all together, is that it frees up your human experts to do what only they can do, solve complex problems and build relationships. But, and this is a big but, automation is not a silver bullet for every single situation. It is so important to know when to automate the process and when to prioritize the person. The major exception here is what we call consultative sales. You know, these are the big strategic deals with really long sales cycles.
The client isn't just buying a product, they're buying your expertise, your insights, your understanding of their business. Trying to fully automate that would be a huge mistake because in these deals, the relationship is everything.
But even here, AI is an incredibly powerful assistant. Instead of replacing the salesperson, it basically gives them superpowers. It can take a mountain of client documents and instantly structure them. It can highlight the most critical requirements. It can even generate a list of smart, clarifying questions for the next big meeting. It literally turns hours of tedious prep work into just a few minutes. Okay, this all sounds pretty great, right? But you're probably wondering, how do you actually make it happen? Well, the good news is, it's a very structured process, not some technical nightmare.
Here's the 5-step plan. It all starts with an audit and planning phase. You've got to know what you're trying to fix, right? Then you prepare the knowledge base, which is basically the AI operator's brain. Step 3 is setting up the logic and integration, connecting it to all your systems. Then, of course, you test everything thoroughly. And finally, you launch and just continue to maintain and refine it over time. It's a project, not magic. Now, I want you to just look at this number for a second. 34 billion. Just let that sink in. What do you think that represents?
That is the number of requests that AI agents are projected to handle every year by 2027. That is a massive jump. So here's the bottom line. This isn't some fleeting trend. Adopting this kind of technology is quickly becoming a core strategic necessity just to stay competitive. And that brings us to our final thought for today. I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Take a really honest look at your own sales process. What are those repetitive, time-sucking calculations and inquiries that are stealing focus from your team? Because figuring that out and solving for it might just be the key to unlocking your company's next big stage of growth.